Okay, lesson plans today. Lesson plans consist of 7 basic parts. The first part is warm-up, second part is a review, third part is the introduction, and we have 2 activities, activity 1, activity 2, take-up, and homework. That's 7 parts. Now you don't have to do it in that order. Sometimes it's good to put homework in the middle of the lesson, when the students are still alert, rather than at the end when they're trying to get out of the classroom. Okay, but we'll talk more about mixing it up later. Basic thing you've got to do first though is a warm-up. Now some people like to combine, do a warm-up and a review together. Yeah? I disagree. I think warm-up and review should be separate. Yeah? Because warm-up is essential that they're not trying to remember anything. They're not trying to use their brain at all. They're just trying to get in the zone of learning. Okay. So it's good to have, a bunch of maybe 20 or 30 fantastic warm-ups that are fun, that get the people up and moving, just to get them in the zone. And then you can reuse those on any class you do. You don't have to have them matching the subject. It makes it a lot easier. You've got 10 minutes of your 80-minute lesson planned for already every day. Okay, the next is a review. Now, a lot of teachers like to review with games, which I think is great, especially for younger learners. But if your students are older, I think that the students themselves can do a recap. Yeah, you just need to elect the student in charge of the recap at that lesson that you're doing. You say, all right, next week or next lesson, Billy's going to come up and do the recap. Yeah? Oh, Billy says, well, why me? Why not Sally? Why can't Sally do it? And then you say, oh, well, Sally's going to do it in a couple of weeks' time. We've got a schedule here, and then these students are going to do a recap. You make it into a kind of a class involvement in the recap, and then that makes an extra homework for one or two of the children every week, which is good as well. All right. So after you do the recap review, you do introduction. Now, traditionally, the lesson has been divided into 3 P's, which is presentation, practice, and production. Yeah, presentation, you present the language, you give examples of it, you make it clear, maybe you do a controlled activity. Then practice, you get them to go off in their groups and do it together, practice together, the structures that you've given, vocab that you've given, and then production, which is free activity. You don't want to limit them with structure. You want them to create their own things, their own communication, like they make their own drill and they play it out. You just give them a framework. Okay, so that's presentation, production, presentation, practice, and production. Another way of putting it is ESA, which is engage, study, and activate, which I think is kind of a better way of putting it, but it's the same thing. Okay, so ESA or PPP takes care of your introduction, activity 1, activity 2. Introduction, semi-controlled activity. Activity 1. 1 is a semi-free. Activity 3 is free activity. After all of this, the bulk of the lesson, you do a take-up. Yeah, you make sure that they've learned what they've had to do. Perhaps they can present their dialogues in front of the class. Perhaps they can just show their posters, anything, or you can get one student to stand up and give a recap. Final thing is homework. Now, like I said before, you can do homework, you can put it in the middle of the lesson, you can even give it at the start of the lesson. It doesn't really matter, it's just something they have to do at home. Okay? Now, you should take around 5 minutes only to explain homework. And then once you give the homework, that's the lesson done. If you give them the homework before the lesson, you'll be finishing with the take-up. Alright, so that's the lesson plan. Done. Easy. Now, some things you can do to make your lesson plan better. Focus on the bulk first. Don't worry about warm-ups, don't worry about take-ups, don't worry about homework. Focus on the bulk, the PPP first. And once you finish the PPP or the ESA, like I put it before, then you work on how you're going to take up the lesson, how you're going to warm the students up, and what you're going to give them for homework. Which homework is actually like a little lesson in itself. It's a lesson they're going to be doing by themselves. Okay, and then homework can also be used in the recap phase, later the review phase. You can use it to take up homework, because the homework is based on that lesson that you're doing in that day. Alright guys, so I hope that's been useful for you. And if you've got any questions about lesson plans, you can check out the website, look at the summary to this video, The link to my website should be at the bottom. It's change-lives-together.blogspot.com. Alright, so I guess I'll be talking to you guys next time. Have a great week and enjoy teaching, and don't forget, change some lives.